And this is a Crystal Palace side that are difficult to score against. This is a Crystal Palace side that have played well when they've come up against the bigger, bigger sides in the league.
Yeah.
This is a Crystal Palace side that I actually really like because of the work that Vieira has put into the side,
For sure.
amazing talent that they have, Eberechi Eze, Zaha and what's this other Nigerian guy's name? Those players are they're interesting to watch, and I kind of hope for Liverpool's sake that they get a result in this one. I mean, they've sort of separated themselves from Chelsea, in this conversation.
Yeah.
Chelsea have had a bad, the bad run of results have continued for Chelsea. But for Liverpool, having won 2 games on the bounce, they can come back into this one and say, okay, yeah, this is the Premier League. We can,
focus on the Premier League now.
Exactly.
And get it top up for next season. Which will be
Exactly.
important. Welcome back to yet another episode of Sangalooo. It has been, like I said, Monday's episodes are usually the episodes for what has happened, but with Champions League weeks, things have happened during the week.
Of course.
Things really happen during the week.
Things occurred, though. Things occurred.
So we should take it off where it all started, where the big news is. Real Madrid versus Liverpool met again, and it's the same old story when Real Madrid and Liverpool face each other.
It was crazy, but this is the thing, right? This was a Liverpool side that had started to pick up some form, that started to find some belief, that started to get some players back and started to find some sort of rhythm. Van Dijk was back, Darwin Núñez has started to show some promise, some more promise. He's been showing promise all season, but some more promise. Players are coming back and we're starting to get, Liverpool fans are starting to feel good. But you're facing a Real Madrid in the Champions League at Anfield and they come and humble you 5-2. It's crazy.
It really is.
It's crazy, and I feel bad. I feel bad for Liverpool fans and for Liverpool themselves. It must have shot their confidence to the gutters. Liverpool started that game quite well.
The better side, yeah.
2-0
up,
and
things were going on.
And not just 2-0 up, over first, 2-0 up in 15 minutes, and it looked like, okay, yes, Liverpool were going to beat this Real Madrid side. And of course, I did predict Liverpool having a good outing because we haven't seen Real Madrid play very well in La Liga, of late. There's like a 10-point gap between themselves and Barcelona in first place in La Liga. So it was surprising to see the final result 5-2, but I just chalk it down to Champions League pedigree.
That's what it is, really. And we saw, I guess, yes, Liverpool, we'd come into good form recently. It won our last 2 games, but this game really exposed what was true. And if you actually look at it, so our last 2 games, yeah, we won them as great one game, but one was against Everton and Anfield, which we always win. And the second game, if you watch that Newcastle game, Alisson was our best player on the pitch. Which tells you something.
See, this is the thing. I don't want you to belittle, because that's another problem with fans of clubs. It's easy for you to belittle the progress that your club is making based on, okay, you want to be cautious or hindsight, and you say this and that.
Yeah, obviously.
But this was a Liverpool side that found it before that Everton game. Found it very difficult to put teams away. So that Everton game was a very, very good performance.
It was a good performance, but it's what we said about Liverpool since the start of the season. Today has been horrible. When it's time to rise to certain occasions, the players can wheel it back. So with derbies, everyone says that form goes out the window in a derby. If your form is good before a derby, you can get derby and be poor. If your form is bad before the derby, you can get derby and be good. So derbies they're hard games to really. They're so emotional. With Liverpool versus Anfield, there's the mental element, so and so. And then my point is the second game, the Newcastle game. Alisson was our best player. If Alisson didn't have a good game, Newcastle, we maybe don't beat Newcastle.
But you didn't concede a goal. You scored 2 goals.
Yeah, we didn't concede a goal. But my point is, Alisson was he played one of his best. Did you know that game?
I did.
He played one of the best games played for us. He was in team of the week. And when your goalkeeper is team of the week, that tells you something. It's good, but it's you don't want that. No Liverpool fan wanted to see that. But yeah, it's good. And we're coming to this game. And then in this match, it was more of the same. So it's those 2 games is proof that was a purple patch. That's not our role for. It was more of the same. We saw Fabinho regress to what he's been like all season. And Jordan Henderson, you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about Jordan Henderson. I'll be tired as
Hendo.
The people in the studio are tired. I'm tired of that guy do. And then Stefan Baccetic, he played a very good game, but
he just wasn't up to.
Yeah, the class
just wasn't up to
that level. Modric, Valverde, and Camavinga. Once the game settled, Madrid just showed that they own Liverpool. Liverpool fans stop looking for new owners. It's not FSG that needs to sell Liverpool. It's Real Madrid. It's Vinicius Junior that needs to sell
Liverpool, bro.
Because it's crazy right now. Second leg, there's nothing to hope for.
It looks like it's a dead rubber.
What's the point playing that game? But we'll go for it again. That's Liverpool. That's what we do. So shit.
Yeah. And it was unfortunate to see somebody, Klopp, who is, somebody who at the end of games, he still comes out with, some aggressive takes and whatnot, but he basically considered defeat. He said, in my mind and in Ancelotti's mind, the tie is done.
He knows it's done.
But let's see what happens. I mean, him saying that for me was a very, very big thing. I was
saying what? Let's see what happens.
He said the tie is done. He actually literally said the tie is done.
You have to say that. You have to. And even if it's just to make Ancelotti feel it's done, but in your heart you know it's done again. You have 1% faith, but you're not going to come on TV and talk about 1% faith.
Yeah.
But that was the big game in the Champions League this week. But we had other good games. The Napoli-Frankfurt game. Napoli are still delivering at the top level.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a Napoli side that we've seen perform brilliantly over the course of the season in Serie A. And they went away to Frankfurt, a Frankfurt side that has also been doing well in the Champions League and in their league themselves in Bundesliga, but the gulf in class was apparent, right? The Bundesliga side did not have enough in attack. They had only Kolomwani doing all the job for them, and he ended up collecting a red card at the end of, before the game ended. And Osimhen again came up trumps, scored the first goal when Napoli were having chances that they were not able to put them away.
It was
pretty
the
even.
Best in the world.
Bro, I promise you.
Just comes alive. Put that ball in the box,
honestly,
in the air. Like I've seen pictures of him with the ball that high. I've seen him put his head on the floor.
You know what? And I have an unpopular opinion. I believe Napoli do not give Osimhen enough service. I promise you. Honestly, because I've watched some of their games. So, I don't really watch Napoli games on a normal day, but because of Osimhen's run of form, I've been watching their games and I've been seeing decision making in the final third by many of these players around Osimhen. They don't really give Osimhen that service. Osimhen's 16 goals this season could as well be 24 at this point, honestly, in my opinion. And the same thing was true in this game against Frankfurt. There were chances or there were runs that Osimhen would make and he would expect service, but it wouldn't come because one player held on the ball a bit too long or just decided not to pass to Osimhen. So that's something that I feel like Spalletti should look at with that side. And maybe give Osimhen a bit more service. I think he has he has a lot more goals in him that
that's
the
exactly
team
what
needs to
makes
capitalize
him
on.
a top player. The fact that he keeps making those runs.
Yeah.
This guy goes 90 minutes, he's making
And he's
the
still
right
going.
runs.
True.
He's such a physical specimen. I hope he keeps his physique and
that
injuries don't
fitness,
become a problem
injury,
The way he throws his legs about, it's like, bro.
Yeah,
this
and
is
he's
normal.
tall as well.
He's so like,
it's-
he shouldn't be moving like this at his size, but he's doing it. So the Champions League, there was an upset in the Champions League. No one really saw this coming, although City were going away. But like we said previously, this isn't as strong a Leipzig side that we've seen in recent years. So it was an upset.
It's
Leipzig,
very, of course,
1-1.
100%. You can say that was an upset because when Manchester City started off that game, they started off with total control. They scored first, Mahrez with the goal, and it looked like, in fact, before the game, we predicted it in the last episode. We said Manchester City were more likely to go into this game because it was the Champions League. It is that one cup, one title that they're really hungry for. It was the one that we thought, they'll really go all out for. But RB Leipzig coming out with a 1-1 draw, I promise you, that's a massive, massive, massive result for them. Even though they were at home, I expected Manchester City to defeat them. But let's see what happens when they go back to Etihad.
No away goals, so definitely
It's definitely all to play for,
proud of this.
honestly.
And it's all to play for. It's one game, knockout football, and as you've seen, City, they don't always
City
hold their
looks
bottle
sauce.
in these games.
Yep,
If you look at the league, this isn't the best City side we've seen in recent years. The other game that happened was Inter-Porto. I think we also
we definitely called this one right.
Inter beat Porto 1-0, a goal by Lukaku. Happy for him, like he's had a rough time recently. Even if I'm happy for him, if I can be bothered to get emotionally attached to Lukaku anymore. But Lukaku scored a goal, and it was a very typical Lukaku goal. He headed it, hit the crossbar, came out.
Anyway.
So not clean, but it's a goal and a goal is a goal.
Right.
1-0 Inter going into the second leg.
Yeah, I mean, we all thought Inter Milan were going to have have the upper hand, having played first in their home. Inter Milan can as well just go to Porto and just hope for a draw and they're good, right? But kudos to Lukaku for bagging that goal.
Their best player on tape, one of their better players, got a red card. So probably will missing from the home leg, which isn't good. So
bad for
I'd
them,
probably predict Inter to advance in the tournament.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page with you there.
So that is European football in a nutshell. We're looking forward to the second leg of games. We'll be here with you guys as usual.
Of course.
All right, back to league and domestic football. We've got Friday night football with Wolves going up against Fulham. Wolves really need to start picking up results consistently, or they could be out of the Premier League. And this is, like, we've seen Wolves be really good in Premier League. We've seen them finish trying to get into Europa places from time that's gone. And now they're all the way at the bottom of the table. They're only 3 points ahead of the relegation zone. Do you see Wolves getting relegated or not?
I see them just edging it out.
Yeah.
Just at the
I think
dying,
they've just got
dying
that
embers.
extra bit of quality that some of those teams around them
I think so. And them having Lopetegui in the dugout, that's
that's
a
part
very,
of the
very big
quality.
name.
A manager that's,
But for me, this is very interesting because something very interesting that I found over the week was that Wolves are actually one of the top 10 sides of all time in the Premier League, counting the number of points every single Premier League side has ever made since the inception of the Premier League. Not the like the most recent reinception, the actual inception of the Premier League as a competition.
Wow,
Wolves are the top 10 sides with the highest number of points of all time.
They're probably number 10.
They are not number 10. Interestingly, they are in the top 7.
Top 7?
Top 7.
Interesting. So
Big.
it was the top 6 and then Wolves?
Bro.
Impressive.
Big. So that was interesting for me to find out. So they're definitely a side with pedigree in the league. And, having come back from relegation a couple years ago, they've looked pretty solid in and around the middle,
They've troubled the big sides from time to time. So it's quite disappointing to see them.
So it would be disappointing to see them relegate, but it looks like the ownership of the club know what they're about. They definitely do not want to relegate. Having somebody like Lopetegui is major intent from the ownership of the club.
It really is.
To avoid relegation. So I do tip them to not relegate, but they are playing against a Fulham side that's pretty solid. Currently above Liverpool.
This might not be the week that they get the form back.
This might not be the week that they get the form back. But it's also interesting because they've been up and down.
Yeah.
They defeated Liverpool 3-1. They went on to lose the next game after Liverpool. So it's up and down. It's a mixed bag for them, like you said. But I think against Fulham, the best result they can get there, I mean, just to say, might be a draw. The Fulham side are pretty good this season.
They'll definitely take that. They definitely take it. Beggars can be choosers.
Right.
So that's Friday Night Football for you. On Saturday, the title race is back up and running, and we've got Arsenal have a pretty big game. They're coming up against Leicester.
Leicester City.
Leicester is the side that do like to cause Arsenal problems. Jamie Vardy does love playing against Arsenal. I'm not sure if he's going to be fit for this game because he's been out of form recently. Ian Nacho has picked up form recently. They didn't have their last game was the United game, which didn't go in their favour, but Leicester have started to pick up a bit of form.
Yep.
And it looks like Rodgers has found the pieces that could make their season better.
Yeah, so we can talk about Leicester City because I remember on one of the earlier episodes this season, we literally spoke about Ten Hag probably losing his job before that episode ended. Brendan Rodgers, sorry. Losing his job before the end of that episode. And, he's turned their season around. He's found a system that works. And they've been one of the best scoring sides over the past 7 games in the Premier League.
That's the thing about Leicester and about Brendan Rodgers in particular. And I know this because I spent a few years with Rodgers. Like, he can get a team playing good attacking football, but he doesn't know how to defend. And it's like, it surprises me that was so many years ago when it was Liverpool. And he still hasn't really matured as a manager.
It's still the same story,
Like, fix these things. Like, we scored so many goals. SAS that season, Sterling, but you're leaking like whatever.
You're leaking goals. And I promise you, I believe that the Manchester United game was an outlier. I mean, before the Manchester United game, they defeated Tottenham 4-1. And this was the Tottenham side that has started to pick up form as well. So I believe Leicester City will end their season on a good note. And I believe they'll get a good result against Arsenal. Arsenal is currently struggling under pressure.
Arsenal go away in this.
They go away, of course. So that has to count for something for Leicester City. Leicester City will score goals. Yeah. But it's an Arsenal side that that
score as well.
That could score goals too.
So that's going to be a very good game. The other game in the title race is Manchester City versus Bournemouth. You'd probably expect City to win that game. City aren't in great form, but Bournemouth don't offer that much of a threat that.
Yeah, that you would expect them to defeat Man City. True.
I mean, if it was like maybe a Palace
or a Brighton.
Brighton. You see how it could be an upset, but with this one, I don't really see an upset coming. But it's the Premier League after all, and you don't really know.
I'm on the exact same page with you on that one. Bournemouth have not really been that great
There's
this
nothing
season.
really to write home about Bournemouth.
So it's easy for it to just if you're a betting man, just put your money on Man City.
All right, there's another game happening. Obviously, we're not listing all the games. We're just listing the games.
Yeah, some of the big ones that we're
pushing. Liverpool go away to Crystal Palace, and I feel this is. Some will say this. Yeah, it's a big game for Liverpool to know whether the Real Madrid game was an outlier. If they win here, at the end of the day, it's to be 3 Premier League wins in a row.
On the bounce,
that's 9 points. So it's a very big game for Liverpool, and I think if Liverpool lose this game, then it's probably over. Like, how does Klopp get the players back on side this season? Like, this has become the biggest game of the season.
Who's at home, please?
Palace at home.
Palace are at home. So that further adds a spanner to the works.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Crystal Palace side that are difficult to score against. This is a Crystal Palace side that have played well when they've come up against the bigger, the bigger sides in the league.
Yeah.
This is a Crystal Palace side that I actually really like because of the work that Vieira has put into the side, the amazing talent that they have, Eberechi Eze, Zaha and what's this other Nigerian guy's name? Those players are they're interesting to watch, and I kind of hope for Liverpool's sake that they get a result in this one. I mean, they've sort of separated themselves from Chelsea, in this conversation. Yeah. Chelsea have had a bad, the bad run of results have continued for Chelsea. But for Liverpool, having won 2 games on the bounce, they can come back into this one and say, okay, yeah, this is the Premier League. We can
focus on the Premier League now.
Exactly.
And top 4 for next season, which will be important.
Exactly. But that's something that I feel like we should put out to the fans as well. Is Liverpool's season over? And I think that can be the question of the day. Is Liverpool's season over? Considering the way the season has gone for them, the kind of result that they had against Champions League.
A more specific question is, do you think Liverpool make it into the top 4 at this point? Because all the other trophies seem to be out of it. So
most
it
definitely
really hinges on that top 4 position. So do you think Liverpool can somehow find their way into the top 4? Let us know in the comment section, share with your friends, ask them to, and let's get that big good.
Yep.
So those are our big games for Saturday, but we're still in England and talking domestic football. The first trophy is going to be for this weekend. Sunday, we've got Manchester United versus Newcastle, 2 teams with big fan bases and pretty decent heritage. Big game.
Give me some of that. Give me some of that. These are the days you live for as a fan of a football club. I mean, and there's just something interesting about it this time around. There's the energy, there's the vibe, there's the positivity. Especially with both sides that are coming into it, this is not one of those cup games that you say is done and dusted. In fact, any cup final can throw up an upset. Remember that Arsenal Birmingham game, finals. Birmingham were nowhere to be found really in the league, and Arsenal were right up there. And Obafemi Martins did the business against Arsenal. So this is one of those games. Newcastle themselves have had a pretty good run at the start of the season.
Yeah.
They're not really doing well,
Currently,
they can't score goals, but it's a cup game. It's the finals. It's at Wembley. Both sides have the opportunity to have the same number of fans in the stadium, so there's no home advantage or anything like that. But in my opinion, if I were to be as objective as I can be, Manchester United look like the better side at the moment. I would hope that Manchester United win, but this is a cup game. I'm not going to say too much. I know what I want, but I'm not going to say too much. It's a cup final, but I do expect to see Manchester United win their first trophy in, I think, 5 years now.
Wow.
It's a big day.
I probably agree with you on that. United are the better side coming into this, but cup games like derbies, form goes out the window. Newcastle are a very good side at the moment.
Yeah, true.
I think the fact that they defend well is good for these type of knockout games, but you don't want to consider. You want to hope you get one on the other end. They haven't scored that many goals, but Isak is back. He's playing more games now, so it could be a different proposition. They seem to be trusting St. Maximin. I don't know if he was injured or what.
Yeah, he was injured actually.
Exactly.
He was
so
out for a bit.
He's coming back to fitness. So with Isak, St. Maximin and Almiron on the wings, this could be a different Newcastle to what we've seen in recent weeks.
But that was the same Newcastle that actually played Liverpool.
Yeah, it was. And I feel like they just come
back at home.
And Alisson was our player of the match.
That bodes well for me.
And Alisson was our player of the match. So it's not that
they didn't
lose because they weren't good offensively. They lost because our keeper was just too good. So they're creating chances again and coming close. So don't rule out Newcastle. That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
if I was a betting man, I would put my money on Manchester United. But keep out of that game. It's not a foregone conclusion at all. There's still one more game in England this weekend, and it's Spurs versus Chelsea. Chelsea? I don't even know what Chelsea won for their season. I guess about Chelsea now is about getting the players that they've signed to start looking good in anticipation for next season being a good season. So that's probably the target, but Chelsea are very bad.
Tottenham have found their way into the top 4. They currently sit 4th. Newcastle have dropped out of the top 4, a position that seemed done and dusted for them. We thought they were going to finish 3rd, and then the 4th spot was between maybe Man U, Tottenham, and any other team that comes. comes closer. But Tottenham are in the top 4 now. They will want to look to consolidate that. They still have Conte out, you know, due to that surgery that he had, and it looks like the backroom staff on board are finding a way to grind out those
Conte
results.
is actually bad vibes. I'm surprised if they're happy he's not there.
I mean, it's sad stuff, but it might be true, right? It might be
He
true.
needs to probably leave Tottenham. And he
But
probably
yeah,
will.
those guys handling the squad right now, they seem to know how to grind out those results.
So yeah, it's a very big weekend for Spurs. If they win this, it's a big milestone in trying to achieve the top four position,
definitely.
which will be impressive for them considering their season hasn't been a great season either. But I guess for them, it's just been about being better than Liverpool and Chelsea, really,
True.
and they could sneak into Champions League
True.
as a result of that. So yeah, those are the big games coming up. We'd like to know your thoughts as usual in the comment section. I guess another question of the day is going to be who wins the. We have 2 questions of the day. Do Liverpool make top 4? And who's winning the Carabao Cup final? Manchester United or Newcastle? Let us know in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks for rocking with us once more. Peace.
Peace.
Also,
yeah, man.
The election weekend in Nigeria. It's a very big weekend. Go outside and vote. Your vote matters, as we can see by everything that's going on around. Don't only vote for president, vote for the other positions, because this
House
is
of
what
Senate,
matters.
House of Reps, and governorships later next month. Of course, please, as much as possible, try to stay away from violence. It's not worth your life, if we're being honest. It's not worth violence anyway, anyhow, right? But of course, there's emergency numbers. If you see anything shady, call those numbers. If you see anything crazy happening, call those numbers. Yeah, and let's just keep positive vibes.
Exactly. Stay safe, stock up on your essentials, and we'll see you guys on Monday.